We kick off Indigenous round with the $20,000 prize pool here for the Storm and your Sea Eagles for your Thursday night here. And we're going to start off with the outside backs as always. And I think there's a couple that really stand out to me. Ruben Garrick is one of those guys this week that I think is a really solid option. Obviously, that couple of grand more expensive than some of the other guys. But I just think he has the biggest opportunity to get a consistent 40 to 50 score here out of all of these guys. We've got someone like Justin Olam, who's obviously fairly solid there, but he's had 3 really lean weeks in a row, and I'm not sure if you can select him unless you think the Storm are going to have a really good game, and they've been scuffling a little bit lately. So Ruben, I think, has that biggest chance to be consistent, along with someone like Nick Meaney, who gets back into the fullback position. So if you think Storm are going to go pretty solidly, then something to do with like a Meaney and an Olam could be a good play for you this week, I think, at 14,000 and 14,700 a piece. So they're 3 guys that are interesting. Tuipulotu is always a very interesting player there with 52, 37, 38 in 3 of his last 4 to go along with that 23. So he's very, very interesting as well. And then someone like Talatau Kola as well could be solid, but at 9.8 hasn't really been doing a great job for scorers here at the moment. So they're definitely my options in the outside backs. And we move to the halves and the hookers there. And I think there's 2 options. You go for Munster or you go for DCE. And obviously Daly's been your most consistent performer across the whole season, and 2 lowest scores, a 57 and a 59. I know, crazy in his last 2 weeks, but he can get back into that 70 to 80 this week with a nice big game. And Munster, obviously, after a lighter one from him, he's been super consistent with 62 being his lowest score in the previous 6 weeks before that. So Munster or DCE, both great options. Take your pick on that one. We move on to the forwards there, and we've got guys like Olakau'atu who have always been scoring really well, apart from last week. So he's had the first light week in a while, and I think he can definitely push back into a much better score. Jake Trbojevic, if he wants that consistency around that 50 mark, then he could be your guy. And the value in this one's going to be in Brandon Smith. So with Harry Grant out, Brandon moves into the starting hooker role. He did play there last week, but they got beat up pretty bad, and he didn't have a great game either. So the 36 from him. If we can get anywhere above the 40 mark, you're making money on this trade in here with Brandon. So I think that he can definitely do that this week, given the fact that he's going to have that role for potentially a bunch of weeks through this origin period. I think it's time for him to step up because he hasn't been very good at all, if we're being honest. So he's someone that you could have a selection with there. And other than that, there's really not a great deal of options here. You got Sipley, who's starting in obviously a cheaper role there. Andrew Davies starting as well, but he didn't score well in a starting role last week. There's really not a heap of really great options this week, apart from potentially Tui Kamikamica, who at 12,390 has had 2 solid games in his return here, and I think that with a forward or 2 out, he could come out and do pretty solidly as well. And sneaky, Felice Kafusi's had that one good week last week, but let's put some doubt that he's going to be able to do that again. So they're my potential selections for this week for Thursday night's $20,000 prize pool. I wish you all the best of luck, and we'll catch you in the Friday video.